So similar, yet so different. What the heck happened? Those of us who've owned multiple headsets in the past can agree that there will come a time where one will set the new standard and how things will be judged from there on out. I and many others can look back a while ago when we picked up the 800p headset. Premium being something you would not associate with Turtle Beach. That is, until you've had these in particular in your hands and over your ears. Great packaging, a unique charging style without a need to hook a USB into it. The first of many to release with DTS Headphone X that provided a surround and sound a bit better than previous years from other companies, chasing that dream. And features ever overflowing and a build quality and comfort above their average outings prior. That was 2014. This is now. 2017 has passed us by, and near the end of it, Turtle Beach released what looked like the successor to the Turtle Beach 800p headset. Similar features and conveniences found in both, yet in a more affordable price bracket of $150, sitting in the middle of what you expect to buy for a headset nowadays. Remember, the Turtle Beach 800Ps retailed for a whopping $300 in 2014, the year of its release. What makes them so similar and so different to warrant one being expensive and one being half the price of its older brother? Well, let's find out. For starters, they both are made of light plastic material, albeit the design showing the build quality difference of the 800Ps being a more solid construction over the 700Ps. Personal tastes and preferences will dictate which of the two meet a need you're looking for in a headset's design philosophy. The 800Ps provide anything your heart desires when it comes to tweaking the settings on the headset itself. It has been mentioned though by many that the buttons are overly sensitive and makes you wonder if they are touch enabled like a phone screen. With so many buttons on the 800p headset, one might get overwhelmed. So the 700Ps seem to have been made to address this concern by some. Instead of multitudes of buttons on each ear cup like the 800Ps, Turtle Beach thought only adding the bare essentials on one ear cup was necessary for the 700Ps. You got 3 buttons and a scroll wheel or 2. Anything deeper when it comes to tweaking the settings will require the Turtle Beach companion app. Free, of course, for the PC, Android, and iOS. As mentioned, there's 2 scroll wheels. One is for chat audio, and the other is for the game volume. A button for their trademark superhuman hearing, which raises trebles and mids to sharp volumes, technically. You have an on and off button, and the Bluetooth button rounds it out as the only tactile items left on the headset. Some may like this simplistic approach of the 700Ps, but others may moan and complain, and rightfully so, in having to need their phone nearby or the app up on their PC, minimized or whatever, for any sort of tweaks they may wish to change. While the 800Ps can utilize the app as well, again, all controls are actually on the headset's cups themselves. What's left on the hardware front boils down to inputs. Both headsets have a micro USB port for charging the headsets, whether that's while you're still gaming or not. I have to say though, when it comes to the 800p headset, I've hardly had to use it, as the magnetic stand charges the headset. Quite nicely and conveniently, in fact. Unlike the 700Ps taking up a second USB port, also to charge the headset, the 800Ps do not, so the slight advantage is there. Now, the 3.5mm audio ports, on the other hand, when it comes to each headset, are an odd one to tackle, as each differs from one another. While both headsets can of course be used wirelessly, through their transmitters or via Bluetooth technology, only one of these two headsets can be used passively with no power, and that's the 800Ps. Yes, once you connect an audio cable into the 3.5mm port of the 800Ps, you can then connect to any device that also has an audio port, whether that's VR, headsets, tablets, handheld devices like the Switch or Vita, or some phones on the market. It may sound like I'm making a big deal over this, but keep in mind we can't take for granted audio ports due to certain shifts in the market. And also, the 700Ps cannot be used passively. You heard that right. The mic and the audio cannot be heard out of this headset unless you have it turned on. Both headsets, while sporting around 10 hours of playtime, I feel the 700P stands at a disadvantage in regards to this. If the 800Ps ever run out of battery power, you can still use it as it essentially becomes a normal headphone. This does not apply to the 700Ps. I've updated the firmware on both headsets prior to this review and comparison, so unless another update comes out to address this issue, my viewpoint on this stands. Something else I'd like to point out that may allude to this issue is that the 800Ps pack in an audio cable within the box. The 700Ps do not. Not to focus on this for too long, as I'm sure the wireless features are what the majority will be using, I'll have to say both headsets differ on this aspect as well. I believe it boils down to the transmitters and maybe the hardware in each headset themselves. Look at the 800P transmitter. It looks like two large coasters fused together with components necessary for charging and transmitting the wireless signal throughout the room, and even strong enough around the home if need be, which in my experience does fairly well. The 700Ps though uses a small dongle similar to the PlayStation headsets made by Sony. Albeit the wireless signal isn't the greatest, as you can barely hear anything as you exit the room the dongle is in. A life hack item to improve this is grabbing a male to female USB extended cable, but it only improves it a little bit. Bluetooth, on the other hand, sound a bit off, at least on one headset. While walking around my home and backyard, the strength of the 800Ps was pretty generous in regards to how many feet away from the dock, my phone, and tablet the headset can be. I can't say the same with the 700Ps, which start fading and popping if I wander a little bit away. The quality isn't so clear as the 800Ps either. Often, the 700Ps feel like calls I answered off it were from afar or underwater, almost robotic in tone. With all this talk, I'm sure you're wondering if these feel comfortable. There's no point in owning a headset no matter the features or sound if it isn't comfortable. And the oddities in regards to these headsets continue. Both have similarities though. Size of each are closely similar, although with a slight clamp to themselves at first, but over time they loosen up. The headbands are highly adjustable and actually fairly comfortable due to their memory foam being slow to decompress, a sign of high quality plush-like material being used within. The ear cups though are where the differences start cropping up, where one headset in particular maybe not wear for too long before getting aches around the top and bottom areas around my ear. This would fall under the 700Ps, despite me applauding their efforts when it comes to those who wear glasses. Not many headset manufacturers take into account for those wearing glasses, and Turtle Beach saw fit to make the sides of the ear cups an extremely soft material that should make it fairly comfortable in the area where glasses would sit around your noggin. Strangely though, the top and bottom portions of the ear cups are stiff as a board. It's like as if there is no uniformity to the ear cups themselves, and more like two different types of foam was sewn inside them. It just feels weird and causes some discomfort actually. The 800Ps though are so soft and super pleasant to anyone who wears them for hours on end. The ear cups feel as though the same foam material used in the headband is also being used inside the ear cups themselves. Very comfortable, and many hours will go by without any issues. The ear cups, of course, bring out the sound on either of these, and while these two headsets share a similar sound, the enjoyment on one leaves a lot to be desired. As mentioned before, a couple features are shared between these two, and that applies to the DTS Headphones X. While it's still simulating the effect, it gets so close to a real surround setup, many will be happy enough that they are convinced they heard something behind them or off to the left or right. The sound signature of DTS Headphone X's surround is a bit different than Dolby Headphone, and its effectiveness also being more directional from what I can tell, despite both formats trying to achieve similar results. You can look more into the differences of the audio formats on your own, but I can say the surround on both the 700p and 800p sound good enough to convince anyone that they are hearing stuff all around them. These both have bass that impacts well for those wondering, while the treble and mids aren't drowned out by it either, and sound clear enough to enjoy. For the 800Ps, that is. What throws the sound off between the 700Ps and 800Ps is the seal of the ear cups themselves, which I feel the 700Ps does not do well. If you are wearing either headset around your home, you will instantly notice and hear air traveling through the openings of the 700Ps between the sides of the ear cups. An after effect, in my opinion, due to trying to adhere to those wearing glasses. This causes the sound to leak out, decreasing the overall quality and clarity of the audio, and pretty much nullifies the noise cancellation feature on the 700Ps, as you can hear anyone and anything outside the headphones. The 800Ps though do not run into this issue, having a complete seal that keeps the audio nestled around your ears and forcing the noise cancellation to work as advertised, by making you turn that feature off to hear what your significant other is telling you. When it comes to talking to others in chat, the mics work fairly well and are clear on each, despite the 700Ps having a boom mic, while the 800Ps being boomless. The 800Ps look cleaner as a result though. The 700Ps though adopted the infamous flip the mic down to talk and flip the mic up to mute feature, found in many headsets with a boom mic. Since the 800Ps is using a hidden mic, it's sorta hard to tell if you are muted or not without listening to the voice prompts, using the Turtle Beach app, or taking the headset off completely to see if the light indicator shows it's muted. If you wish to hear the differences between the two mics of the two headsets, well, rest assured, I'm well ahead of you. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I may have sounded a bit different in particular areas of this video. That's because I utilized the 800P's mic in the beginning portion of the review, while the ending portion, which we are currently doing, was utilizing the 700P headset. While I feel each sound familiar and similar, could you hear the difference? Which one did you prefer? Anyway, it looks like that's all that needs to be covered between the two headsets, but before we announce which headset is the better of the two, let's go over the pros and cons of each headset to determine this. After looking at both headsets, while both are similar, the differences between the two make one stand above the other. When it comes to design, features, comfort, and sound, I believe the Turtle Beach 700Ps do not reach the same level as the 800Ps. The Turtle Beach 800Ps, a headset released in 2014, seems to provide a ton of features packed within the headset that to this day, the competitors still do not provide, or even within Turtle Beach's other line of headsets. The premium build quality that still has lasted me to this day, and a comfort I feel I can't praise enough, especially from the ear cups on the 800Ps. Great surround and sound quality is being pumped out of these that is sure to please everyone. I can't recommend this headset enough. So if you are having to choose between the Turtle Beach 700Ps or the 800Ps, just because one is newer than the other doesn't mean it's better. The 800Ps are definitely the better headset of the two. I know that price of the 800Ps may scare you a bit, but I feel it's totally worth the price for what you are getting. Anyway, there you have it. The Turtle Beach 800Ps are the winner in this throwdown between headsets. Hopefully you enjoyed this review and comparison. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.